This episode of Culturally Eft was filmed in front of a live studio audience. Hey fluffy people, Arrkay here. This week is a special edition of Culturally Eft to wrap up the most recent dozen episodes, collectively Season 2, recorded at Toronto's own furry convention, Furnal Equinox. We shot a live episode here entitled, What Does It Mean to Be Furry in 2016? Which is in the first 15 minutes of this video, so stick around and then we go behind the scenes to each episode from the past 6 months, and end it with some Q&A with the audience. Also, if you haven't heard yet, we have been nominated for the 2015 Ursa Major Awards for Best Anthropomorphic Website. So sign up to vote at ursamajorawards.org. It's quick, easy, and anonymous.
Ready to start? Yeah? Yay!
Woo!
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Culturally Eft Live and the actually 1-year anniversary of launching the show. We launched the show at FE last year, and great turnout this year. Thanks for coming out to my panel. Also, when we're done, it's mostly just going to be lecture. There's going to be some questions. We're shooting a live episode that will be called "What Does It Mean to Be Furry in 2016?" We'll also be doing a season wrap-up where Underbite and I are going to play clips from each episode of the last 12 episodes, and we're just going to talk about behind the scenes, fun stuff that we maybe left out, or other fun anecdotes. And after that, just open Q&A if you have any ideas for the show, or if you have any questions about the show. Also, if you did not grab a coloring book from me or Underbite, we have a big stack of them up here to grab at the end of the panel. We'll also be handing them out at the first year parade. Culturally Eft coloring book. We also have bottle openers just for people who showed up to the panel. Let's get this started. I'm the show's creator and host, Arrkay, as many of you probably know, and sitting next to me is Underbite Dragon. We met at the monthly furry dance party here in Toronto, Howl. I thought I would flirt with him at the time. I was single and I didn't know what he was up to. It didn't work. Here we are. This was before we had any episodes, before we had anything filmed. I had some scripts written and I had started buying equipment, but we were still very pre-production. So at Howl, I walk up to Underbite, didn't work flirting with him, but I started talking about Culturally Eft, and yeah, he's on board. He's a graphic designer, and he offered to do my logo for $40, which is awesome. But then I keep talking, and he'll do my logo for free. Great. And then I give him the full scope and potential, and he signed on as art director, and now he comes over to my house every week. He made the opening credit music. He made the opening credit animations with music provided by Cord Kitty. Has anyone seen Cord Kitty this year? I don't think he made it. No. He's in Cali. Okay, he's at Cali for this year. Underbite also does a lot of the thumbnails. He cleared up the mock-ups for the icon. What else have you done?
Housekeeping.
Yeah.
That looks good. That looks
He also
business cards and stuff.
He also operates the camera and teleprompter when we shoot. By teleprompter, I mean my tablet, and he scrolls up on the scripts. So he comes over, does that, and we just brainstorm ideas. And he's been a really awesome force to have, because I was totally ready just to start doing this by myself. And he showed up just at a bar. Where else better to meet people? So, for those who missed the trailer or just learning about Culturally Eft, we are a YouTube show about all things anthropomorphic and furry. The goal of the channel is to touch on history, art, culture, anthropology, drama, animation, costumes, comic books, mock chat rooms, role-playing, video games, anime, and furries. Culturally Eft does not stand for fucked, it stands for furry, fluffy, fuzzy, foxy, whatever you want it to be. The show came from an unfilled need that I noticed, that YouTube is the second most used search engine in the world, according to its parent company, Google. But a year ago, if you searched furry on YouTube, you would get videos like this. Video game babes, I hate furries, maybe the occasional furry documentary, or you get videos like this. Dance videos, com videos, vlogs. I felt that this didn't really encapsulate the fandom, what the fandom was really about. It didn't give any justice to the breadth of activity and interest that we celebrate. If YouTube really is the second most used search engine, then there's no single source of furry media, history, or active representation. And I wanted to give furry a public face that people can respect and talk to some of the more intellectual aspects of the fandom. And I wanted to create a resource for furries to access when they felt like their community was nothing more than fetishists and porn artists, or if they felt persecuted or bullied, that they can turn, just send some YouTube links and say, no, 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 this is what it's about for me. Like for me, it's about comics, it's about YouTube, it's about anthropology and history, and for others, it's about fursuiting or just hanging out with other people. So it's different for everybody. But not to completely sweep the adult aspects under the rug, we've created a side series which will be premiering at the end of this panel called Culturally Effed After Dark, or Effed After Dark for short, because we're cheeky. It is the exploration of sexuality, gender, fetishism, and pornography within the furry fandom, presented in a respectful, safe for work, and intelligent way. That'll be elaborated more when we actually watch the video. Since our inception last March, last Furnal Equinox, we have over 800 subscribers. When I checked this morning, we're at 845 or something, which is mind-blowing. We've had a huge influx of subscribers since January. That's, to give you an idea, that's about 2.5 new furries every day since last year. We've also been nominated for the Ursa Major Awards 2015 for Best Anthropomorphic Website. Oh, thank you. I tried to explain to the Ursa Major Awards that we didn't attribute human characteristics to our website, so I don't know why we're Best Anthropomorphic Website. It doesn't. We're on the same ballot as Best Anthropomorphic Website alongside Fur Affinity, E621, SoFurry, and WikiFur. One of those things is not like the other. So once we're out of this panel, I would encourage everyone to leave the con, go home, register to vote, and vote for Culturally F for Best Anthropomorphic Website 2015 on the Ursa Major's website.
While you're filling out one of these coloring books.
While filling in the coloring book, yeah. Yeah, it's super quick and easy to become a juror. It's open to the public. They just need like your address and your email. And then, yeah, you can vote on a myriad of different Best Anthropomorphic works. It's actually a really cool way to find new books or movies or anything that you may not have heard of. Back in October, I monetized the channel with Patreon, as I'm sure many of you have skipped over at the end of every video. And because of that, I monetized it because I was unemployed, and I had a friend of mine, Sammy actually, hi Sammy, he suggested that I draft a full business plan, and I did. And I think over the next 2 years, I'm going to be treating Culturally F like a business, and we'll be seeking stuff like third-party sponsorships. We'll be launching a web store in the summer probably, maybe earlier, so keep an eye out for that. We're going to have some cool swag, but we have free swag today. If my projections are accurate, I should be able to do Culturally F full-time in maybe 2, maybe 3 years, and maybe even have money left over to pay the creators who haven't been paid yet. Yeah, so that was the slide for business. I missed it, got distracted. So, moving on. 2016 is a big year for furry. Why do I say that? Well, so far, we've been in the news. We've been in the news like a lot. Like more than usual, we've been in the news. Speaking of Zootopia, there are oodles and oodles of movies that are coming out just in 2016 that are all feature anthropomorphic animals. These are just a few. And these are a few more. And there's been a huge amount of video games last year and this year, and comics. So, yeah, this got me thinking, what does it mean to be furry in 2016?
Suggestions, thoughts?
Yeah, what do you guys think? What does it mean to be furry in 2016 compared to what it was to be furry in 2006 or 1996 or 1986? Why? What's different about 2016?
Lots of new people in the fandom.
Lots of new people in the fandom. My thoughts exactly.
you know, what is known in fandom as the safe and as fandom,
Etiquette.
yeah, good.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's anyone else before I move on? What does it mean to be furry in 2016?
There are a lot more furry websites nowadays.
Sure. Sure.
There's also a lot more access to furry media in general.
Yeah. I mean, we just went through all those slides of dozens of movies just in 2016. We've had record-breaking and award-winning video games from last year and this year, like Undertale and Armello and all these other ones. So yeah, it's kind of getting a little crazy for furries, right? So I think it's a great time to be furry. The media is starting to understand us a little better. We're getting a lot of publicity, and a lot of it is actually pretty good. When someone says furry out loud, more people have a better idea of what it is furry is, what we're talking about. And it's not the portrait the media painted of us, starting with CSI, leading up to the Furry Force. It's starting to be a little bit more positive, a little bit more understanding. This is, hold on, where was I?
All of this media makes me think that we are about to see a big influx of even more furries in a multimedia wave that hasn't been experienced since the birth of the fandom. This is just our opinion, but all signs seem to point to a large oncoming tide of new furs. I use the word tide on purpose, that what we'll experience is a large, slow wave of new furries coming in. In the past, the furry fandom has experienced what people have described as media waves, which is a large group of people coming into the fandom all at the same time for roughly the same thing. For example, in the 80s, there was a design community, there was a sci-fi and anime community, and there was enough of them that were like, hey, let's start our own cons. So that was like the first media wave. But then, after a few years, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics came out and were explosively popular, and they saw a big influx of comic book nerds coming to their previously anime, like sci-fi focused conventions. And then in the 90s, the media wave was the electronic furry fandom, because people were getting more computers into their homes, they had access to the internet, they were signing on to chat rooms and meeting furries online. And later in the 90s, The Lion King got really huge, and a lot of people came in from The Lion King, much in the same way that people from My Little Pony are coming in. They're all making fan art, they're all making fan stories. Like, it's exactly the same thing with My Little Pony, but My Little Pony is a TV show instead of a one-off movie and a musical and soundtrack and all of the other stuff. So what does it mean to be furry in 2016? Well, I feel like we are ahead of the curve. That if we're here now at this convention watching these YouTube videos, that we're at a tipping point. I don't want to say that we're pioneers or we're the first, because there's been 30 years of furry history leading up to now, plus or minus 30,000 years of anthropomorphic artwork. It isn't much of a stretch to think that over the next few years we'll start seeing animal-themed merchandise targeted towards aspiring furs in more mainstream shopping outlets. A friend of mine, Neo, who I don't think is here yet, he coined a great term that I'm going to adopt, that over the next 5 years, we will be meeting the hot topic furries. And I don't want it to sound like such a bad thing either. No fandom survives without new blood, even if it angers the parents' brigade or upsets some more of the furry veterans. No fandom survives without young blood, even if they're kind of annoying at first, or they entered the fandom through different means. Hi, new people. Come have a seat. So, enjoy 2016 while it's here. Enjoy the furry fandom this weekend as it stays this sort of mid-level sized fandom. Enjoy it before it explodes into overwhelming populations. How many were in line up for registration yesterday? Who waited more than half an hour? Yeah. Wait, just give it a couple more years. We wait 2 hours, or they'll have to get more volunteers. Enjoy Furnal Equinox while it's still dorky, because someday soon it might just be cool to be furry. That being said, it'll also inevitably become lame again, but that's a topic for another discussion. So we're going to switch gears. At the end of the first dozen episodes, I called it a season, and Underbite and I sat down and had long episodes, sort of played like a podcast where we broke down each episode by episode to have like behind the scenes, some funny anecdotes, what we liked or didn't like about it, how did the viewers respond, stuff like that. So we're going to do something similar here, but we are going to play a clip from each episode in the season. It's Fur. There should definitely be audio on that. So, episode 14, Dragon Pursuits.
We're born naked, as they say, and the rest is fur. Furries and drag have a lot in common. Firstly, we're all gorgeous.
And most of all, whenever possible, tell us we look gorgeous. Tell us we look gorgeous.
The makeup, the hair, and the attitude are just a different way to express one's original character. Like the way someone designs a persona, drag queens create an entire new persona with themselves as the basis of inspiration.
So that was episode 14, Dragon Pursuits. We filmed that at Howell, it was the same weekend as Anthropon that year. It was Miss Farah DeCage. Yeah, that was a fun night. I see some of my friends there. Who made it up to drag night that day? No one? Okay. Well, it was awesome. You missed out. My friend Nao came with her drag persona, Miss Christy Pitts. And my roommate Lauren came as Miss Freddie Mercury. And she did a sing-along of Bohemian Rhapsody so powerful that there was another party on the other side of the venue, and they all came over to sing along with Bohemian Rhapsody, completely flooding our ridiculous furry party, and it was awesome. So yeah, that was episode 14, Drag versus Fursuits. That was filmed over the summer without any help from you, Underbite. Shame on you.
Furry lingo is loose and fun. It doesn't have very many strict meanings or conventions. It's a tool furries use to talk to each other in a fun and playful way. Fursuits, sometimes referring to mascot costumes, but I prefer saying that it's more of a cosplay of an anthropomorphic character, original or otherwise. Fursuiting is the act of wearing it in public. My favorite definition, fursuit salsa. When you vomit inside of your fursuit head, the fluids drain away, leaving behind some chunky goodness.
So yeah, furry lingo. My favorite word I learned was fursuit salsa.
My favorite was the Murray Prairie Furry Party. That's a preview for the next one, isn't it?
Yeah. Part 2, we're going to do Dirty and Naughty Words as episode 2 of After Dark. And me and Underbite had a contest where we said Murray Prairie Furry Party 10 times fast. Do you want to do it again?
Murray Prairie Furry Party.
I think I got to like 5. I wasn't counting.
That's good.
Moving on.
The quintessential cryptid that everyone is familiar with is the big, fluffy, furry Bigfoot, or Sasquatch in North America, Yeti in Nepal, Almas in Mongolia, Deloitte's ape in South Africa, Amamongo in the Philippines, Barramanu in Pakistan, Batatan in Vietnam, Chichunya in Siberia, Amphir Liathmore in Scotland, Hibagon in Japan, and Yowie in Australia.
My favorite slide, some of my favorite points on there were Dracula controls the blood banks, and Dr. Mario is not a real doctor. Yeah, that was a good episode. It wasn't as popular as I was hoping though. Not too many people liked it, but I really enjoyed getting into character. It was a fun film day.
I feel like our more ambitious projects got less views, whereas, it felt like some of the quicker stuff got a lot stronger response.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
In 1996, the Italian Space Agency began constructing the first of 3 modules for the International Space Station. Their purpose was to facilitate cargo and the docking of the space shuttle. The Multi-Purpose Logistics Module were named for great Italian creators from the Renaissance. You know where this is going. Leonardo, Raffaello, and Donatello. The final of these were sent to the Kennedy Space Center in 2001. As with most of NASA's missions, a mission-specific patch was made for the crew installing the modules. Not to leave anyone out, pictured is a Ninja Turtle, possibly Michelangelo, inspired by the names of the modules.
That was an episode I spent a long time writing, and I guess I didn't land on my feet when we shot it. It was a bit slow and clunky, and not another one of the not-so-popular episodes, but I enjoyed writing it, and I think that's what really matters. Any thoughts on Culturally Apt in Space?
Well, we're going to shoot an episode in space someday, I'm sure. But...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're almost there.
Well, I mean,
you may have noticed I have a fursuit head on this side of the table. This is going to be our new co-host. His name is Rusty Shacklefur, and he's from the moon, as you will learn if you watched Culturally Apt in Space. Yeah, he was going to take over. He's probably going to do some funny stuff. I'm not quite sure how we're going to use him, but yeah, you'll see him quite literally come alive in the future.
So what kind of person is SpongeBob? We know he's intelligent, he has his own thoughts and feelings and goals, and we know he can make the perfect Krabby Patty. Sea sponges don't have typical sensory organs. You can easily anthropomorphize something that already has eyes, but if it doesn't, it takes extra steps to humanize the object into something that an audience can relate to. Finding Nemo didn't anthropomorphize the sea anemone that the main characters lived in, so why did SpongeBob's creators decide to anthropomorphize him?
Sponge Post Furry Fans. That was a great episode. Awesome response, super fun to write. I had some help from Hysterical on that. Yeah, thoughts on SpongeBob SquarePants? I'm not a SpongeBob SquarePants fan, so I do endure a lot of it. A lot of Googling was done. Yeah. It was based on the Magic to Species article, which was great on Post Furry, and I felt SpongeBob was a great mainstream example for that. Is there anything else?
Hieronymus Bosch also painted his fair share of religious iconography, including anthro characters and demons. He's known for his painting The Last Judgment, but you may just as likely find one of his works in a headshot poster rack or filtered through Google's AI Daydreamer. He has created 2 distinct works on the Temptation. His creations have much more character than Michelangelo's demons. You can see different breeds of birds and fish. It seems to have been his secret passion to include animal people into his many works. He probably loved painting nature. While many are demonic and are depicted torturing humans, others seem to be more passive observers. If he were alive today, he would likely be a very successful artist and probably involved in the furry community.
I want to point out that that guy being eaten by that bird is also farting birds. But it's something to lie. It's hilarious. Yeah, Tempting St. Anthony, that was probably our least popular episode, and I think it has more to do with like the title and how I made the thumbnail than it does the actual content of the episode. That is an episode I spent like months writing, and I had a lot of input from some people sitting over there actually. Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and again, that was more of an episode for me. Any other thoughts on Renaissance art?
I can talk about Renaissance.
Yeah, well, yeah, I thought it was important to, well, it's okay to get sidetracked, what's wrong with this? Yes, we got time. Yeah, like, I wanted to show, like, an elevated anthropomorphic artwork. I wanted to show, like, anthropomorphic artwork from one of the most seriously taken art periods, which was the Renaissance. And to show that, like, we can use furry art and furry media to learn more about art history and more about us and animals and how they've been used throughout history and stuff. So I thought it would be a fun tool to help introduce that to furries.
Number 2, Fox from the web series The Guild, played by Will Wheaton, who you probably remember as Wesley Crusher from The Next Generation. In Season 5, the show takes place over one weekend at a convention, and Felicia Day's character, Codex, is being stalked around by a mysterious fursuiter, later revealed to be one of her love interests and the leader of her rival guild. By the end of the season, he finds another fur. His fursuit isn't half bad either. He's bad at fursuiting, though. He kind of just stands in the corner and stares. Fursuiters, take note. This is not good fursuiting behavior.
Whoa. Wish I would have known that before I kicked. Would have done it harder.
Top 3 fictional furries. That was a quick, dirty episode. Tons of fun to make. It had a pretty good response. That's all I have to say on it.
Yeah. Anyone know Garth was a furry? Thinks it's really
I don't know. It was really slim pickings to find fictional furries that weren't awful.
Folks dressed up as
Yeah, there was, I think, one I missed from like NCIS Las Vegas or something. There was someone who admitted to going to Anthrocon, but like there was just one instance. I don't know. I guess I could have included them, but Garth from Wayne's World is enough of a slide, so no one has given me crap for it yet. So.
Furry has a tactile quality. Fur reacts more with touch than any other sense, be it sound, smell, or sight. Touch is represented as a basic element of the anthropomorphic concept. It gathers fans around a feeling of a shared experienced sense, the extreme of the active imagination. Fursuiting is one way to express it, with the most personal experience between audience and performer.
That was Hugs' Furry Handshake. That was written by Patch Packrat, or Patcho Fur as he sometimes pens his name as. That was an article on dogpatch.press, which is a great blog done by a guy out of the San Francisco Bay Area. You've probably seen his fursuit. He somehow manages to get his fursuit in every bit of media. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, he's like a wolf. He has star-shaped glasses and sparkly pants. Can't miss him. Yeah, that was a really great episode. Huge response from everyone who watched it. Furcast did a huge shout out of it. They loved it. Loved it. And I thought it was really cool. I didn't change too much of the script. It's almost verbatim from the original blog post on dogpatch.press. And yeah, it was a great article. I got to include all those cool videos. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Hugs? Who likes Hugs? Yeah, who doesn't like Hugs?
We're not
Crazy? Yeah, it was super interesting to sort of discuss. Yeah, it was super interesting to discuss like what hugs mean, especially to furries, as opposed to other people or even just strangers. Because if you hug a stranger at a convention, no one cares. You try and hug a stranger in public, and you'll probably get tased. So yeah, that's 17 misconceptions about the furry fandom. That was a long time in the making. I had over 6 or 7 people help contribute on that because I wanted to make sure it was as solid and as accurate as possible, and I wanted to eliminate all my bias and just present something that was kind of clickbaity, that kind of looks like a different channel to trick people, and it worked.
It's our #1 video.
It is our #1 video, and I only released it in January, only really a few weeks ago, and it's already skyrocketed past our other most popular videos, which were about conventions and comic books. Yeah, we had a great response. Like 2,000 hits, all praise except for that one troll, and we only have that one troll, and I think he's kind of funny.
I can only assume they're carefully tracking every key word and hashtag and have seen absolutely everything labeled Zootopia, and I mean everything. Film companies and cereal companies know about furries, but so do juice companies, car companies, mattress companies. They all have nodded to the fandom in their advertising. Furry has more traffic online than ever before, so it's up to all of us to make sure that when someone looks up the word furry, that they don't just see the worst examples.
So yeah, media attention and hashtag Tony Tigergate. I had a terrible flu that week, so we did manage to shoot some episodes. We did an episode about After Dark that day, and he managed to host because I was just a wreck. And a few days later, Tony Tigergate like exploded, and it was like, okay, we have to do a video about Tony Tigergate. So despite being sick, I was like I was getting better. But yeah, I was kind of pasty and sweaty in that video, and that's because I was still recovering from the flu. Yeah, Tony Tigergate. That was kind of messed up, wasn't it?
First like, topical episode. So
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
allowed us to do it. Okay, we can do this now.
Yeah, because usually I write episodes like months or weeks in advance, so it was a challenge for me to take a current event like that, like Tony Tigergate, pump out an episode really quickly and get it online as fast as possible. So that's why I was just done on my computer, sort of different format, playing as we like to play with the format. We don't like to just keep you guys bored with talking head, like maybe this panel. We're almost done, I promise.
Another key focus of the film is existentialist philosophy. Zootopia's mantra is, in Zootopia, anyone can be anything. Existentialism emphasizes individual freedom and choice, the view that people define their own meaning in life. Think the existential crisis, when someone questions the meaning of their life.
So yeah, that was the most recent episode, posted like last week. And another attempt at a topical episode where we watched Zootopia like the day before release day. There wasn't a lineup or anything, which I thought was weird, so instead we showed up early, expecting like, oh yeah, there's gonna be all these furries there or whatever. And instead we just played House of the Dead. It was fun. And the next day, Let's wrote an article for me, and I built on it and turned it into an episode. Yeah, so like we have a lot of other stuff coming up. Time to switch back to the slideshow. Yeah, so that was the Season 2 breakdown. What is coming up? Coming up, we have 666, the subscriber count of the beast. I have a great showcase of furry poetry, with poetry donated beautifully by, what was that? Beastly Creature, I forget what it is. It's this poetry anthology for charity. It's yeah, that was a lot of fun to make. We have animal dance, animal exercise, which we're gonna get into fursuit and do some yoga. And we're gonna do a furry music video playlist. I actually, on my personal channel, I have a playlist of all of these music videos, animated with fursuits, whatever, and it's like 4 hours long. It's a huge playlist. So I'm gonna start by taking some of those, and we're gonna try being like a video DJ almost. So play a few videos, then it's gonna be a video of this guy. We're just, hey, this video is made by this guy. Isn't it great? And here's some videos coming up. And chances are people will probably skip it, but I don't care. Yeah, we'll probably also do more on Zootopia, since, as I mentioned, there's a lot to talk about Zootopia, and people loved Zootopia. After Dark, which we're previewing after the Q&A, before the panel's over. We're gonna have Furry and Queer Identity. That episode we already filmed with this guy hosting. Furry Lingo Part 2, where we talk about dirty and hurtful words. In the future, we're gonna talk about burned furries, when and why did furry become a sex thing. We're gonna talk about the pup scene, and interviews with experts, and more. So yeah, that's it for the presentation. I would welcome some questions, some comments, other stuff, high fives, hugs.
Suggestions, ideas, anything. If you feel like I missed,
Raise your hand.
just shout.
Are you only on YouTube, or do you have other outlets?
We're on YouTube, but we cross-post on Facebook and Tumblr.
Okay.
We're not on Vimeo or any other video platform, just YouTube right now. Anyone else? Questions, Q&As, suggestions, ideas? Cool things I should investigate later for an episode? I saw you first.
Will there be more videos featuring Underbite, or is he only going to show up when you're in bed sick and it's not?
I really hope it becomes 50-50 as far as presentation. It's your baby.
Yeah.
You got this thing started. Awesome.
Right.
And I've already started talking. Let's give more than one.
I don't know. I think Rusty might have some more screen time. We'll see. We'll see it. I got this.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll have Underbite on more. He's got to practice up more a bit, though. Last time we tried, he's a little wounded. We'll work on it. We'll loosen him up.
Next question, please.
Yeah.
Do you also do an episode about how different countries and cultures treat modern furries?
Yeah, because it's commonly perceived as American, so that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, that was one of the misconceptions, was that it was like a North American thing. Yeah, I know. I probably will.
Japanese furries.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing there too.
Yeah,
so.
Twice I was featured on the South Africa podcast, where there's a really small community of South African furries. They have a podcast. They're attempting to do a South African convention. They tried a few years ago and not enough people showed up, so they're going to try again. All the power to them, but it's fascinating to me how furry, just being an online culture, could just spring up everywhere. It's freaking awesome. Anyone else?
Have you guys ever thought about doing a podcast in the future?
What do you mean?
Like a podcast.
Just raw podcasts
instead
of presenting a podcast.
It's been suggested that I even just take the audio out of the episodes and just upload them onto a podcast platform.
Probably the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, so if we did, it would probably be something like that. We did a long format episode for episode 13 that was played for, I think, 45 minutes. And we sort of presented that as like FCast because the podcasts I listen to are generally long format. I honestly don't think I could sit there and just talk for very long without planning lots and lots of script pages. So yeah, it's been tossed around that we might just import the videos onto an audio medium. Does anybody have any other questions? Q&As?
What would make an episode like furries that come to a convention compared to ones that use like air-based like virtual portal?
Yeah, we have 2 episodes from the first season separate about that. We have like the internet furries and then we have the convention furries, but I haven't done like a comparison of that yet. But we could, yeah. We should be writing these down. I didn't bring a pen. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about an episode cross-examining like the almost like crosstalk between different fandoms? Because I know you go to Anime North and depending on who you talk to there, furries are just despised.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That I have like a 12-page document full of episode ideas, and that is totally one of them. Comparative fandoms, looking at anime, looking at the comic sci-fi generic sort of stuff at Fan Expo. Where do we stand? Where are furries, and how different are they? Because furries, we largely make our own media, not completely, because we've got stuff like Zootopia and all of the other movies I just previewed. But for the most part, we just make art for ourselves and we make content for ourselves. Whereas anime, sci-fi, comics, video games, they have big companies making stuff for them. And we don't really have that. The best we have is Toby Fox, who can make us Undertale and have it make Game Facts Game of the Year. Yeah. Yeah.
There's this weird.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to talk about LARPing.
Yeah. How like some people, if they do like LARPing in some sort of like animal, werewolf kind of costume.
That sounds insane. Like it's hot enough to be in a fursuit. Like at a convention, I will break. I can last maybe 15 minutes. So doing that out in the wild for hours at a time while also chasing people with foam swords. And in chainmail. Yes, I absolutely do. Also things that are on the list of things I need to talk about, but I'm just still getting to, is anime. I am not an anime fan, period.
I don't consume any.
Yeah, so we are looking for someone to help us write a script about anthropomorphic animals in anime. So if you know anyone, come find us after the panel.
If you yourself do it, just send us an email.
Yes, because I know dick all about it.
Give us words to spit.
Yes. So we need help with anime. We need help with LARP because I've never LARPed. And if you know a lot about either of those things or a topic that you're about to suggest, by all means, come find us. Red. Oh yeah. Someone suggested that. Was that you that suggested that? I mean, like someone messaged us in the comments section like last week, and they specifically said, you should do fandom-made animals, and yeah, circles, hybrids. I find tours to be really confusing. So because I find it so confusing, I'm probably going to do an episode about that, and I'll be less confused about it, and hopefully everyone else will also be less confused about it. Like, what are they?
It's nice now at this point that we got like the base of what Culturally Up is about, and at this point we can just really get into more topical ideas.
Absolutely, like the first season was super structured. We wanted like
foundation
through history sort of thing. So now season 2 is much more freewheeling. And yeah, we're just sort of making episodes as we write them. As soon as an episode is ready, we can just film it.
What about an episode on divides in the furry community? I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but there used to be like a separation between what is furry and what's a wear.
Oh yeah.
Or like
well, yeah. Some people who are wares also like prefer Therian. Therian is another thing. I've gotten in trouble in the comment sections. I say anything about Therian in any direction, and someone's like, no, it's this, or no, it's this. So it's one of those things where it seems to be mostly defined by the people who self-identify as it, so it's different for every single person. So there's no consensus. So I'm probably going to be doing an episode on wares and how they interact with the fandom, or Therians, and try and get to the bottom of what's going on. Because no one can give me a straight answer, because everyone I ask is maybe something completely different and unique to them. It's almost like the furry fandom, where if you ask someone, hey, what's the furry fandom to you? Then they'll say something completely different than anyone else in the room. I saw a question over here. I hope I haven't been ignoring you.
Have you thought about doing an episode on like how furry started in like the 80s?
That's
sci-fi conventions and
I have a playlist on the channel already, because a lot of the episodes in season 1 already sort of break that down just by media. So yeah, it starts out with design culture, and then the episode about comics and Usagi Yojimbo, I get into detail about the design culture, from the early 80s, and how we got stuff like the Ninja Turtles and Tank Girl. It all started with just people who had access to a photocopier.
Or more specifically, like how the first conventions in California and I can't remember the other side.
Conference.
And there was one that also started about the same time on the other side of the country. They knew nothing about each other, for example.
Oh, really? Okay, I do get into a little bit of that in the conventions episode. But yeah, there's a sort of a playlist that, like, if you watch it, you'll get a pretty good set history of the furry fandom from all the angles, whether it's the internet, the comics design culture, or conventions, plus all the other stuff. Anyone else? Cool ideas? What's culturally effed? What do you guys think is culturally effed? Musicians, yeah. Well, we're doing a showcase on poetry. I've been meaning to do, as I mentioned, I want to do a furry playlist. So I was thinking of having multiple playlists where I'll have music videos that happen to have anthropomorphic animals or like fursuits hired, and another playlist of music made by furries. I really want to get Potteroo's help on that, because he did a podcast on that for like 3 or 4 years. So I'd love to have him as a guest spot. What's up?
Throwing something too, something we were talking about yesterday, just the difference between videos made by furries and videos with furries in it, and the difference between like the presentation and how it's written, etc. So
one thing
we're really exploring too.
Yeah, I was in a music video for Megan Lane, Someday We Will Leave This Town, and it didn't do too well, and I think it's because it wasn't authentic, because Megan Lane isn't really a furry. She thought it was an easy way to get a lot of views on YouTube, and it kind of did. But I feel like something like Culturally Effed, furries can get a sense that this is authentic, that Arrkay has clearly been in the fandom long enough. Whereas something like a lot of the mainstream music videos you see that let's just throw in an animal costume and it's artsy, done. That's not really that authentic, and people don't really identify with that. It doesn't connect with the furry fandom, especially if they're trying to target the furry fandom and then they fall flat on their face.
If anything, it's just makes it distasteful for us.
Yeah, like they got the clearly rental costumes.
Well, they don't know who you're.
Yeah.
Not much of it.
What else? What do you guys find culturally effed?
If you want a very hard subject.
I love hard subjects.
Actually define what furry is.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's probably different for everybody.
Yeah, I got into that in the Misconceptions episode, mostly.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I give the International Anthropomorphics Research Project definition at the beginning
Yeah,
of the episode.
I know
and then I
that's
sort of
how they-
elaborate on it and say it's sort of different for everyone.
I know how they came up with that definition was in like there's no clear way to define it, so they just had to make a generic enough definition.
Yeah, it has to be.
And it's literally self-definition. You call yourself a furry, you're a furry.
Exactly.
There's like nothing else.
Yeah, I had someone on the comment section say, I really like anthropomorphic artwork and media, but I don't like furries, I don't identify with furries. So I told him, yeah, well, just come to a convention and you'll see how tame it is, because it's not all porn, it's not all fetish. People are just here to have fun and dress up and be nerdy. Anyone else? That's culturally effed. Well, we're running out of panel. So, do you guys want to see Culturally Effed After Dark? And then we'll cut it a bit early and just sort of hang out. We'll be up here if you want to say hi. Or if you have yet to grab a coloring book, we'll be handing those out as well. Also bottle openers. And they're in the shape of flip-flops. Yeah. Yeah, it's first come, first served with the bottle openers. We only got like 15 of them. Yeah, so do you want to watch After Dark, or do we want more questions? What do you want to do?
After Dark.
All right.
Is the After Dark the one he's hosting?
No, this is the introduction one. We filmed this back in October or November, and it's actually been online since then. It's been available to the patrons through Patreon. If you subscribe, you get early access. So we actually have 3 episodes of Culturally Effed After Dark already on YouTube, but they're unlisted, they're secret, unless you subscribe to us on Patreon. So, but in the next week or 2, we will be releasing Culturally Effed After Dark to the public, so the wait is over. It will be a monthly show that we will be featuring. It's not going to be part of the regular Culturally Effed. Culturally Effed After Dark is going to be a different show. It's going to be on a different release schedule, probably once a month. But the regular Culturally Effed episodes are still going to be bi-weekly, released on Thursdays. All right. Anything else before we click the magic button? Away we go. Hey there, I'm your host Arrkay, and welcome to